put your hands together for the fantastic Hari. Over to yourself, sir.
Thank you, Sarah, and good day, everyone. I am a creative geologist, or so, 10 years until 10 years back. So whenever someone asks me what is a mineral, I don't say phosphate. I will say it is monazite, because I also had the same experience once from several engineers. So nothing against engineers, but geologists are geologists and engineers are engineers. And so I'm Hari Tulsidas, and I am working in UN Economic Commission for Europe, which is an regional UN body representing 56 member states, which includes the European Union and other states in other countries in Europe, the former Soviet Union states, including Russia and Central Asia. We have North America, which is Canada and US, and also we have Middle East with Turkey and Israel. And currently I'm talking from Istanbul, one of the member states of UNEC, one of the countries within the European region for us. So, Jocelyn, next slide, please. Talking about mining and collaboration, we heard a lot of talks on the micro level issues in collaboration. I'm taking you into the macro level issues of collaboration. So what we are seeing today is a movement away from the fossil fuel or the fluid economy, the oil and gas economy, to a solid mineral economy that many predict is going to happen by 2050. The total value of trade of minerals is most likely to exceed the total value of trade of oil and gas. And then the question everyone asks is, where will you be mining? What is the limits to mining? Do you have the minerals? Haven't you been mining for 10,000 years, 30,000 years? Or at least last few centuries, you have been mining intensively for copper, gold, and whatever. And is there anything left to mine? Geologists will say that, yes, we can do exploration and find more. It may be deeper, it may be low grade, but you have more. You can solve all the problems of mining, but there is one limit to mining, which is becoming very serious. And that is the waste issue. If you go to the next slide, please, Jocelyn. And this is a mining paradox. You are mining, especially if you're mining a metallic mineral, you are mining 1% or 0.1% of what you are actually excavating. The rest of the thing is going as either mine waste or tailings. There are different numbers for the tailings that are available, thrown around in the world. So many million cubic meters of tailings, which is just a small bit of it. Maybe 15 to 30 billion metric tons of tailings are produced annually. You have 8,500 active, inactive, closed facilities. But here is the most important metric I have seen when I visited some of the mines, new mines which are about to open. Up to 35% of the capital expenditure, the capex, is to build the tailings impoundment facility. And having the tailings impoundment facility built very strong, you spend a lot of money into it, doesn't prevent it to be failure prone. You have extreme events, you have micro-seismic events and all that happening which could destabilize these minings. So what people are really worried about mining is the waste issue. People don't like mining in my backyard not because it is ugly, because you are creating a lot of waste and you are storing it in our area and you are leaving it. After mining, you will be leaving the place, and it is for us to see how we care for that waste. So that is the biggest issue. And now the question I want to pose today is, what if tailings and mine waste are not liabilities, but they are bankable assets? And this is something where global collaboration can be there, the North-South collaboration, South-South collaboration. All sorts of global collaboration could be there in transforming these liabilities into assets. Next slide, please. So from waste to value is where the UN framework classification for resources. This is one of the frameworks which UN has built about in the 90s. It was first put into action in 1997 when we needed a system that bridges the Western system at that time and the former Soviet system, which many countries in Europe still follows. You have many countries within the European Union which follow the former Soviet system. And then there are countries which follow the Western, which we now call the Crisco style systems. So how do we bridge the gap between them? How we can have these countries talk to each other where minerals are concerned? And then UN framework classification was built for that purpose. Over the time, it became more focused on social and environmental issues, including issues on waste and other aspects of circularity. So the system is gaining importance as a tool to ensure sustainability. So we have the European Critical Raw Material Act, which has mandated the use of this system. We have the African Union actually making this system the continent-wide system, which is tailored. They tailored this system for their own use. And along with this system, we have another one called the UN Resource Management System, UNRMS, which builds upon UNFC with 12 circularity and sustainability-related principles. And globally, this system is now an official system for the System for Environmental Economic Accounting. This is a global UN-backed framework which statistical offices of countries are using to report their mineral assets, mineral production, and other data. And with that, next slide, yeah. The UNRMS basically has some innovative things. I talked about circularity. It looks at as minerals not as commodities, which is the usual way of looking at it as linear commodity things. We are looking at a circular thing beyond commodities into a kind of service. Minerals as a service, resources as a service is a paradigm which we are like looking forward to instill everywhere. We're looking at life cycle thinking, which we hope that will give the social license and the intergenerational justice will be assured by that. So we have a lot of work going on in UNRMS application. In United Kingdom, there is International Center for Excellence in Sustainable Resource Management, which is a consortium of several universities and the British Geological Survey. They are looking with a particular focus on seeing mining as a different activity, totally different from the past, as an activity that supports the circular economy. We have several countries in Asia Pacific as well as other regions which are looking at these aspects. So what we want to do is to enable bankable waste reuse projects. We have a lot of ideas. We had a lot of papers published. Academic work has been done, but now we want to scale it up to attract investments and see how blended finance, loans, equities, grants, and all could be brought together to shape the projects into commercial projects. Next slide, please. So I will briefly talk on what we did as South-South collaboration and South-South triangular collaboration with an example of Africa. So AMREC stands for African Minerals and Energy Resource Classification and Management System, which is a system which is built upon UNFC and UNRMS. It is kind of a tailored system for Africa, which Africa has got its own vision. We just heard the importance of having a vision. People coming together, having a consensus doesn't achieve anything. You need to have a very simple vision on what we are going to do. And around that vision, consensus should be built. And Africa has got that as African Mining Vision, and the African Union Commission, the UN ECE, the UN Development Program, UN Economic Commission for Africa, the EU, through various projects, including Pan-AfriGeo, supported Africa in building this system. And this is very important to Africa because more than 30 African countries rely on mining, mostly for raw material exports. It is a major part of their export revenue. And in many countries, it is a major part of the GDP also. So mining, in spite of being core to the African economy, is often seen as a resource curse. If it is not managed properly in many countries, and it brings more pain to the people than prosperity. So you have a situation in Africa where less than 10% of the material mined is beneficiated. There is a high waste. Almost 90% of the value of material that is mined in Africa is going out of Africa, but 90% of the liabilities stay in Africa. And there is very little local value. How we can transform that? And this is something the African system, AMREC, is trying to address. And this was built through global collaboration. It is owned by Africa, but a lot of support has come from countries around the world in building this system. Next slide. Along with this system, there is a Pan-African Resource Reporting Code and standardized reporting code, which is also unique in the world. World collaborated, many people provided lessons learned in building this code. And they said that in our country, we lack this even today. We like to, if Africa is building something, we need that system to be better than what is available today. And in Africa, the reporting code doesn't just look at the economic benefits. It looks at the social benefits, the environmental impact, circularity and reuse of materials, tailings and waste is all looked into. And this is the only system that looks at artisanal and small-scale mining, which is very important to Africa. More than 50% in many countries, the mineral production is from artisanal and small-scale miners. And also, this is the only system that looks not only at the environmental performance, environmental management, it also looks at innovation, environmental innovation, what new technologies are being put into place while the operations are going on. What this system is trying to do is to have competent persons certified to unlock the secondary resource value, the value from mining, the mineral waste, mining waste and tailings. And what is required, and this is the biggest challenge today, Africa has to train a lot of people to be competent person. We have put a target of about 300 plus people to be trained every year. And this is where global collaboration is again needed. We need expertise from around the world, people coming and saying that if you want to be a competent geologist, competent mining engineer, we need to see that you are learned from the lessons we also learned. You learn and try to be better than what has been done in other parts of the world. And this is where we think that we need a large amount of support from countries around the world. So next slide, please. With that, I will come back again to the circularity issue with reference to Africa and taking two examples, one from South Africa and second from northern part of Africa. So in southern part of Africa, you have gold mining in South Africa, which is a major mining project which has been going on for a century or more, 2 centuries, 3 centuries, this gold mining has been going on. You have a tailing, kind of a tailing mountain chain built in South Africa, which is about 600 kilometers long, 600 kilometers of tailings lying there. And this is creating acid mine drainage and many other issues. It is a radioactive material. You have a lot of other issues with this tailings, and it has become a legacy problem, and it is very difficult to address this problem at this stage. It is like, if you want to touch it, it is like seeing the face of death. That much of resources, funding is required to clean up this, the whole thing. So what we can do is see how we can avoid this thing. So there was an example of Groot Wheel, which is a gold project which had problems, acid mine drain, acid AMT problems. And in 1990s, Mintech, the South African National Mining Processing Institute, they developed an innovative circular idea on addressing acid mine drainage. At that moment, the mining mindset, the non-creative mining mindset decided not to do that, because this is not something they have not seen. Anything new is a no-go for the mining world, and it was rejected. And the project went on for a few years, and then it failed because they could not control acid mine drainage with conventional technologies. Had they tried the new one that was suggested, it would have been a different issue. We have a lot of phosphate mining happening in northern Africa, in Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Egypt, and all. And that is an important input to food production in the world. It guarantees food for the whole world. The population of 7 billion or 8 billion people depend on that phosphate. And for the interesting metric here is, for every ton of phosphate fertilizer produced, you produce 6 tons of waste, solid waste. 6 tons of solid waste, which is called phosphogypsum. It is gypsum. It is kind of, it is very equivalent to the natural gypsum, but it is different because it is slightly acidic. You have phosphoric acid in that. So you have to neutralize that phosphoric acid before you use it for anything else. People don't want to do that. They think that waste is waste and it should be thrown away. So you throw away billions of phosphogypsum every year. We have about 10 billion tons of phosphogypsum stored, not only in North America, but many other countries around the world. This phosphogypsum contains a lot of other co-products, which we are not looking into. There is rare earths elements in this material. It can be used for as an agricultural soil amendment material and so forth. And very important discovery or invention very recently is the radiopharmaceutical use. There are radioisotopes in this material that can be used for cancer treatment in a very innovative way in alpha therapy, which is very much required for patients today. So a lot of possibilities are there, but since they are considered labeled as waste, we don't look into it. So this is a very low-hanging fruit. This is thrown away. Nobody wants it. Only thing that stands its use is some regulations which says that it is a waste nobody should touch it, and the lack of finances and the lack of creative ideas to go there and look at it. So this is something world can collaborate. And my last idea for today is something even bigger. This is after Second World War, we built the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Bretton Woods Institution, to rebuild the world after the world has been laid to waste after the Second World War. So we need an institution like that. It need not be replicate something very bureaucratic like the World Bank, but something very democratic, which includes individuals, civil society, as well as support from the governments and the industry in building something called the World Resource Bank, which will be a global trust, a global green mineral trust, and that will match, that will have a special focus on waste issues. One of the things that this should look into, because waste is now the limit to mining. If you want to say that you can't have mining somewhere, the first reason is waste. So this will look at waste from a technological perspective and also match funding to commercialize the ideas that are coming up. It will be based on environmental, social, economic viability. We have talked about data. This should be really harnessing the power of artificial intelligence and blockchain traceability technologies, and it should be aligned with the ESG green funds which are available out there. And this type of platform could create markets for reuse and circular economy. Next slide, please. So it is a circular finance enabled. What we are lacking is we have a lot of creative ideas. Engineers are also very creative here in coming up with pilot projects, demonstration plan that can use waste as a resource. We need a risk buffer, and which this bank will act as, and it also will have some kind of stockpiles also for balancing the market volatilities, which is also another problem for minerals. It will be having resource-backed digital credits. It will look at smart tracking. It aligns with the UN critical energy critical energy minerals principles, which have been published a few months back. And this is really a game changer. It is a big idea, big ambition, but I think this is where we should be going forward to. We have seen 1970s where the oil boom has happened, and you have OPEC-like cartels coming up and creating kind of tensions which we have seen around the world, especially in the Middle East. The conflict in Middle East is because of not handling the oil and gas wealth in a proper way. And we should not allow minerals to go the same way when minerals become the major focus of trade in the future. So let us stop wasting waste. Let us stop treating any material as a waste. We have the UN frameworks, which are the language for circular mining. We have seen it practically applied in Africa for building Africa's system, which is a collaborative thing. We want this collaboration as a grand idea worldwide, globally, with all stakeholders coming up as World Resource Bank. And with that, I will stop for today. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Hari. That was absolutely brilliant. Round of applause, everybody, for the fantastic Hari.